Okay, I'm really excited to be here today. I want to thank Council President Clark, who's been such a phenomenal leader in our community and in our city to end poverty, and we appreciate all his support and leadership over many, many years. And to Councilwoman Maria Quinones-Sanchez, we're really excited again to be here with you and to see your hard work and determination in Kensington. And, we hope soon to be partnering with you there as well. And of course, to Eva Gladstein, who I don't want to say how many years we've worked together, and the same with Charmaine, but let's just say it's a little bit longer than even Council President Clark. So, started very, very young. I'm really excited by the report that the City Council issued on the poverty and the gap. I've read it. I think there's some really interesting and exciting ideas there, and I'm hoping that you can prioritize and, move forward with those ideas. They were great. I especially loved, and we see it every day, I think the idea of really connecting Philadelphians who live in the city of Philadelphia, who are poor and unemployed, with jobs in Philadelphia is the most strategic one that we're really excited about and we really want to work on, and we'll get in more detail, not today, but at a future time to do that. So anyway, I was asked to give a big idea, so I'm going to do it. And that big idea is I believe here in the city of Philadelphia, we can end chronic street homelessness. And the reason I believe that we can do it is because of the 10 largest cities in the United States, we have the highest poverty rate. Of the 10 largest cities in the United States, we have the lowest number of people living on the streets. That is an incredible statistic. And I invite anybody here that thinks, really, to go to LA, San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, New York City, or Washington, D.C., or any other place you want to go to, and you'll come home and Philadelphia will look a lot better than when you went there. And I really want to acknowledge the presence of Liz Hirsch, who leads our homeless work here in Philadelphia. Her energy and determination and really creativity in bringing new ideas and efforts to this has really made an impact as well. So I am going to talk a little bit. I'm not going to go a big long presentation because it can be boiled down into smaller and counterintuitive things. So that's what I'm going to do. First thing is, single most important thing to ending homeless in our city is affordable housing. Single most important thing to ending homelessness in the long run is a quality education for every single child. Homelessness is symptomatic of some of our deeper societal problems. It's only going to be solved by sustained work, thoughtful, intelligent, continued, sustained efforts over long periods of time. There's no quick fixes, just putting it out there right away. Also, the three things that I believe the city needs to invest in is affordable housing for everyone that needs it, okay? So, of course, my particular focus is for the very, very poorest members of our community. But I also believe we need to invest in affordable housing for people who are working and low income, and the way the prices are rising in our city, we need to be able to do something to support the working, families in our communities as well. Housing, affordable housing. Second, employment. And I just said it, Project Home. The good news is last year we got 183 people jobs. And some of those men and women had lived on our streets for 10 and 20 years and are now working. Ending homelessness, this is the first counterintuitive thing. Ending homelessness saves lives, but it also saves money. Our prisons are our largest mental hospitals. Our prisons are our largest, hopefully, recovering communities as well, but about 70% of all the people incarcerated have histories of addiction. Let's be preventative. Let's, work with men and women and families with special needs to get the same thing that we all need: a safe place to live, employment opportunities, and a quality education. And a project home, any day of the week that you feel maybe this can't work, you just come, and we'll show you people that are working all throughout the city of Philadelphia that have been homeless for many, many years, and now are paying taxes, are paying rent with no subsidy. They may have needed a subsidy at one time, but now no subsidy, are voting and are leaders in our community. I have so much hope that we can do this because of years of experience and thousands of lives that are out there that have overcome homelessness with a hand up, not a hand out. Okay, so second thing is that we need affordable housing, and in the city of Philadelphia, we have about 5,000 units of supportive housing. To end chronic street homelessness in our city, we need another 2,500 units of housing dedicated to people with special needs. People that are on the streets is the prophetic presence saying, hey, there's something radically wrong here. It's a smaller percentage of people that are homeless, but it's the most visible. The people who live on the streets mainly have special needs, mental health or addiction or both, or physical disabilities. 2,500 units would give us the capacity in the city to address the needs as people become homeless who are new that year, and people who leave homelessness, which is, again, is the best news. People leave homelessness, leave subsidies when they get employment. So to build that capacity is what we need to do to end chronic street homelessness. We're 2/3 of the way there. Many cities in the United States would die to be as far along as we are. And we just have to finish the job. It's not that hard. Subsidies and permanent supportive housing, safe havens and recovery housing, and it's the power of we. There's so many collaborators, ODAT, Housing First, Pathways to Housing, Mental Health Partnership, SELF, so many organizations, but it's the power of we. So that's one thing. The second thing is I just want to talk about is this is counterintuitive, but as I said, saving lives and saving money. At Project Home, we do a lot of development, of housing that's affordable. According to eConsult, if you, in all the zip codes that Project Home works with, now this study is going to come out soon. This is a draft, this is a preview. You're the first to hear this, okay? But of all the zip codes that Project Home works with, if you look at the property values and how they've risen in those zip codes, and they all risen, that's one number. But if you look at the properties that are located a quarter of a mile from Project Home sites, the property values have risen greater than what they have in the general zip code. Now, what eConsult estimates, and I'm just saying this because it is counterintuitive, and you're going to just think, are really, but I'm going to tell you anyway. In total, the presence of Project Home sites are estimated to add around $1.4 billion in values to the housing prices of the properties around Project Home. That's $1.4 billion in homeowners' pockets, and maybe even in Dom Real Estate's pockets, because we have some in Center City, but that's okay. I'm just teasing, but it's really true. It's also true, okay? Okay, but if you apply the city's mileage rate of it's almost 2% to this additional $1.4 billion in housing values, the results is an estimated $20 million in property tax revenue to the city of Philadelphia and to the school district of Philadelphia from 2010 to 2019. and that's in Project Home's area of development. So again, that is counterintuitive, but the reason I'm bringing that up, these numbers would also be true for the Philadelphia Housing Authority, for other developers, CDCs, Pennsylvania CDCs, the great CDCs in Kensington. By doing affordable housing in neighborhoods, you're adding value to the existing homeowners. So that is a real, amazing thing. The second thing is that I just wanted to say is I also think that as part of this strategy to ending poverty and ending homelessness, like the Earned Income Housing Tax Credit, and I think Councilman Dom was the one who recommended it, while the city is getting a surplus, so now we're talking about when the city's fiscal year ends and you look at the surplus that the city has, in those years where there's a surplus, I think we should give a rebate, to the earned income, like an earned income tax credit here in the city of Philadelphia to anybody making $30,000 or $40,000 or less. I know you said $24,000. I take it up a little bit, because families need it, and we have a surplus. So, I think we should also give money to people. Not just programs as much as, I value Project Home and all the other organizations, but figure out ways to give money to people. I think that would go a long way too. And I also think there should be incentives for philanthropists in the United Way to raise money when we have a surplus by doing challenge grants in whatever strategy you come up with to ending poverty to incentivize people to do it by leading by example and using some of the additional surplus from the general fund to incentivize, others to join in this very, very, very important effort. I also wanted to talk about Benephilly a little bit. We love Benephilly. It's such a great program. And I think in our big idea of ending chronic street homelessness, which we definitely think is doable and definitely think can be done, when we do Benephilly, we think we should add registering to vote, right? Like in any program that we do, we should register poor and homeless people to vote so that their voice will be heard as we move forward with building an agenda. I also believe in our effort to end and prevent chronic street homelessness. One of the things that I think is critically important is that we do it with the people that are experiencing homeless through focus groups, through other ways of engaging them as leaders and being part of envisioning how this can be done, because they know the best way out of homelessness and poverty because they're the ones that are directly experiencing it. So I think that that has to be critically important as well. I also think for the Benephilly thing to include tax services and links to financial and home ownership counseling, as well as to career counseling through Benephilly. Again, Pauline's absolutely right. People don't realize the opportunities that are out there for them, and the more that we can connect and talk to people who are actually experiencing poverty and homelessness and get them educated and involved in being part of the solution, we're going to have a stronger solution and a stronger city. Lastly, I just really want to say in Philadelphia, I think the most amazing thing is that we're a city with so many leaders that are passionate about this effort, and organizations like SEPTA, organizations like the Franklin Institute, the Free Library. So another great example of really connecting with people that are on the streets that maybe on some given day you may pass and think, this is a hopeless situation. With the restroom attendant program, now we hired 19 people who are living on the streets to be restroom attendants in MSB and in the libraries. It's a win-win situation for everybody. The bathrooms are cleaner, safer, people are working. They're the kinds of innovative partnerships that, Charmaine and Eva and the councilwoman and the council president have come up with, along with others in this room, that I just think we have to keep expanding. I have so much hope, and I think this is a great opportunity. I'm so excited about your leadership. We're willing to work, shoulder to shoulder with you in any way we can. I think we are poised in this city to make a big leap forward, by working together and thinking it through and being accountable and all the things everybody else has said. I just didn't want to, repeat and, repeat. And I just also want to thank everybody in this room for believing with us that none of us are home until all of us are home, and that we can never be complacent as long as one of our sisters and brothers are on the street. And our city will be so much stronger and so much vibrant that all those corporations in LA and San Francisco will want to move here because we have nobody living on our streets. And that is a quality of life that is cherished, I think, by many people. And I think by doing this, it could be a way of enhancing the overall economic potential and growth of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Mary, for doing God's work, and thank you so much for your willingness to really have helped us in Kensington, in addressing a very complicated issue, and we really look forward to you being there, boots on the ground, at this particular time, as everybody knows, with everything that's going on in Kensington. Real quickly, you talked about the 183 clients who got jobs. I know you have your own store that you run and some of the other things. One or two things, and I know Charmaine is leading the education jobs piece. What is the one or two things we could be doing at a better scale to help people transition from homelessness to a job in terms of the skills gap? What do you see?
So this most important thing that we learned, if we could do one thing, is we incentivize people with a little bit of money to come through what we call certificate programs. So people have to be trained to do the library. They have to be trained to do the peer CPS, Certified Peer Specialist Training, A+ certification, safe serve supervision, customer service. And we're working with an organization from New York, Perscolis, on more technology skills. And by the training and working right, and it includes internships and apprenticeships, so you have to work at the places. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times for it to stick, but the issue is it eventually does stick. And that's what you have to do to continue the opportunities for employment in various different ways that makes it possible for people to succeed. And companies like even Amazon, UPS, The Gap, other bigger companies will come and do job fairs, and then, if we can continue to work the training piece and the technology piece, Microsoft Office and all that, they really get the jobs. They might start part-time, but eventually get full-time jobs. Just because you said at SEPTA, where we've been pretty successful there, one of the people who worked there and now is vested just bought his own home. It's wonderful. It's so exciting to see someone who once lived on our streets 10 years later. Again, it's not like there's no instant, things, but there has to be a pathway forward. There has to be opportunities. It can't be shelter or revolving door that leads nowhere, only back to the street. There has to be interventions where people can work, where people can live a dignified life, and have a sense of community and purpose, and we're just so encouraged.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done. One of the first meetings that I attended when I joined the coalition just a few years ago was with you around the whole effort about ending homelessness, the blueprint to end homelessness.
We can do it. We can do it.
And so that's my question. We're sort of sitting here now saying we think we have a blueprint to end poverty. What about that movement that gets us to the place where we are the best city on really creating space and place and dignity for those that are homeless? What can you share with us as we start this movement?
So I think it consists of a couple things. The first thing is, I think under Liz's leadership, with a lot of support from Eva and David Jones, at the Department of Behavioral Health, there is a plan and they know what needs to be done, which is, there's no one way. So it's housing first, it's recovery housing, but not, certified or dignified recovery housing, because there's some issues on that.
Yes.
Okay, so recovery housing, some safe havens for people that are mentally ill, and a lot of permanent housing both with subsidies and through development. So that's the housing picture. Every day, and this has been another really great process with CCD, that's the Center City District, the Philadelphia Police Department, Project Home, Reading Terminal in the Fashion District. During the day, when people are most visible, we work as a team and engage people during the day, and with dedicated placements for people to go, meaning that if someone says, I want to come in, we can get them in, and then we follow them so there's employment opportunities and actually a pathway out of homelessness. We'd like to bring that more to scale. And I know that I'm using the Ambassadors of Hope as one example, but that's not the only example. Bethesda, One Day at a Time, has been phenomenal. With the encampment beds and they're a strong partner in this whole effort. So again, it's just understanding who the people are that are out there and then having the appropriate placements for them where they can move forward. Sometimes it's a shelter. Actually, most of the people that are on the street come and go. We don't know where they came from. We don't know where they went. They don't need that heavy intervention. But for the chronically homeless who are seriously mentally ill, and seriously long-term addicted, they need an intervention with support based on no one can do it for you. But when they're ready to make those changes, you have to have the opportunity and the support there where they can continue on the journey home. And and now they're working, and and contributing. They're taxpayers, they're voters.
So it sounds like to me we're going to need the three of you to continue to tell the story, because I think an important part of what happened around the homeless area was having that kind of civic and business leadership, along with the great work of government, to really continue to work together to say we're not going to let small disagreements get in the way of really staying focused on the big picture and working that through a lot of different political administrations and different businesses coming in. So it seems like to me sort of keeping the community involved, engaged, sharing information around success, and then challenging us around the challenges to say there's more that we can do, but really saying that we can solve this problem. It won't get done tomorrow, but we absolutely can solve this problem.
Correct. And I think, Charmaine, with Council President Clark's leadership, along with Maria Quinones Sanchez and Alan Dom and all the other council people, to really put some resources and challenges out there that need to be matched. Not that the city can't do it alone, but to give some leadership and incentives for others to get involved. I think we could make a lot more progress, and I think to do it in years when there's a surplus. You have a surplus this year. Let's, and I know the city has a lot of needs, and I'm like the common good kind of, person, But, a little bit, we need a nice chunk for poverty. Because again, it has a return on its investment if you look at the e-consult report that we're looking at right now.
Thank you.